content over everything.
You know what I mean, metaphorically speaking, it's not that Allah literally runs towards you if I'm taking one footstep, right? Do you agree?
But it's the context that you read it. So when we say, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala runs, I highly doubt any of the scholars,
Let me bring the adilla. We have to bring the adilla.
No, bring the evidence.
But adilla is important.
I highly negate that anybody affirms that Allah is running. Do you get it?
Should we find out what the scholars say?
Yeah, you can. But the thing is, we can. But what I'm saying is that if you can show me what they understand, because what we want to do is that we don't want to distort the meaning. We affirm the meaning. We do not liken it to the creation. But from your angle, you're coming. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hand. It will start with a hand. Yeah. So let's stick to that, and then we'll come to that specific thing that you're talking about. You affirm Allah has a hand. Do you see it as the hand that we have?
Of course not.
Okay, so we're on the same page. So we're on the same page.
So what the position of the Ash'ari is that when the word hand is used, because I don't think you're too familiar with the actual Salafi position, right?
Okay.
The ma'na is confirmed. The ma'na for yad is known. This is the Salafi aqidah. This is the aqidah which they argue is the Afari aqidah, that the ma'na of the word yad is known.
Okay.
So they don't make tafweed al-ma'na, meaning that they don't say we don't know what the ma'na is. They make tafweed al-kayfiyya, meaning the howness. So the Salafi position.
Okay. So the position that we both agree on is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hand. As an Ash'ari, do you believe that that hand needs power?
I don't give a meaning. I follow Bayhaqi's position.
So
I make tafweed on it. However, I don't see a problem with people giving it ta'wil, because there's a logical explanation why ta'wil would have to be made.
Okay, so what you do is ta'til. You say, I don't know. Yeah?
That's tafweed. But yes, correct. Yeah.
So you're saying basically I don't know.
I don't.
What we're saying is that we're affirming what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala affirms for himself.
Yeah. Have a read of this, for example. So we mentioned the running, right? Because I did say on camera I'm going to bring the adilla, akhi. So we have to. It becomes obligatory for me to do that, akhi. Yeah. So just read that top the top bit for me.
In Fatawa al-Aqidah by Muhammad bin Salih bin Uthaymeen, patron's work, he says that what could forbid us from believing that Allah performs jogging, trotting, harwala.
That's the word in Arabic, the hadith of harwala.
If my slaves come to me
Bukhari,
walking,
right?
I go to him running. Okay. Ibn Baz cites the hadith in his fatwa and adds interpreting such hadith metaphorically and avoiding relying upon the literal meaning is the practice of the heretic, Jahmiyyah and the Mu'tazila. Yeah?
Okay, so let's just confirm from everybody here. The hadith where as the brother has read from my phone, referring to that if you come walking to Allah, Allah comes running to you. According to the Salafi ulama, the likes of Ibn Uthaymeen, bin Baz, they believe you have to literally believe Allah runs. And that if you don't believe, and if you don't negate...
One second. What do you mean by that? One second. What do you mean by that? One second. Aki.
There's book quotes as well.
No, but where does he say...
It's legitimately there. The Salafi scholars do not hide this.
Listen. It goes back to Allah's hand. Yeah, it goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hand, yeah? This what you're talking about, it goes back to the hand. Let's discuss the hand, because from the hand, everything will come to me, yeah?
Inshallah.
What we're saying is the following, yeah? I'm just trying to hear you out, and I want you to hear me out.
Yeah.
What we're saying is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He runs, no one believes that Allah runs like this. Yeah?
One second.
One second.
What do they believe?
Look, let me tell you.
What do they believe?
When we affirm Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hand, we do not say that it's the literal hand, do we?
Of course not.
Okay, so
I hope not.
Exactly.
But there actually are some people that are in the past, especially that went to such extremes in anthropomorphism.
But that's exactly. There you go. So they're falling. It's like innovation. We don't affirm my hand and a clock hand and the hand of a door is not the same.
But it's still a hand. You're basically saying.
Of course.
Okay. One second. Let's just understand something here. When someone says the hand of a clock, that's metaphorical. Do you agree? In linguistics, it's a metaphorical statement because we obviously know a clock does not have a hand, right?
Well, it does.
You understand?
In that
you know where the metaphor comes from? It's referring to because the hands on the clock look like a hand of a living being, hence why they use it, right? It's referring to the actual limbs, referring to the clock also has two hands. That's the metaphor behind it.
But we can say that our hand is a name that's given.
One second.
Why do we not call it something else?
The ulama of the Salafi Dawah say, in regards to Aqidah, that the ma'na of yad is known.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You affirm the ma'na and you make tafweed on the kayfiyah. Now I'm asking you, what does yad mean? What does it mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
So therefore, you're not upon the same manhaj anymore as Albani.
You're missing the point totally.
Brother, are you a Salafi? One second, because maybe you can get some assistance from your crowd, inshallah.
Okay. So what I'm going to conclude from this, I'm going to carry on, is that from the beginning you was doing little digs, and now you're doing little digs of.
I don't think you actually know the Aqidah of Ibn Uthaymeen.
Aki, can I speak?
Father, sorry. I'm just sorry, but it's just
from the get-go you said that I shared the Aqidah of Abu Bakr Baghdadi, which I said, you know what, let me assume the best in the brother. So what it seems to me is that you're doing little digs. Now I'm not going to drop to that level and do digs as well. I'm going to talk from how,
if you want,
from the Quran, the Sunnah, and the Hadith. No.
That's up to you.
I would say it doesn't fit the character of a believer to do little digs towards anybody.
I don't know, because
it's not the basic.
I don't know, because it's
a.
Am I a Jahmi?
If I can finish, Aki. Yeah. I'm saying to you something very simple. Let's come and talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes. That will come clear to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala running towards a believer. It will confirm his shin. It will confirm his being above the throne.
Yeah.
We can talk about that, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm asking a very simple question.
Yeah.
Do you affirm that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a hand?
I affirm there is a sifat.
Okay.
Which is known as Allah's hand, but I negate.
Okay.
And I specifically say I negate that Allah, God, has a limb.
Okay.
What is a limb? A body part.
Thank you.
We negate this.
Okay, ask me the same question. I negate that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a limb. Yeah? But we affirm his attributes. Allah has a hand. We affirm Allah has a hand. We do not distort it. We do not negate it. We do not affirm it. We do not say it's like my hand or the clock's hand.
Well, I'm not saying you have to. I'm not saying the argument is that Salafi say that Allah's hand is similar to a human hand. No.
Exactly.
The concept is that they affirm the ma'na. They know the ma'na. And what is the ma'na of hand? You don't know it. Therefore, you're actually not familiar with the Salafi Aqidah. This brother here possibly knows what I'm on about.
You negate it. No, what you're doing is you're totally negating it. You're negating it.
What is the ma'na?
You're saying Allah has a hand and it is nothing like that we can comprehend.
Okay, so what is the ma'na?
What do you mean by that?
What does hand mean in English? Because you've translated yet into English, or you can give me the ma'na in Arabic. It's up to you. You choose. What does hand mean, or what does yad mean? I want a definition. That was ma'na means.
What do you mean? Like the clock has a hand, the door handle has a hand, I have a hand, but they're not the same hand.
Let me explain. For you to come up with the assumption that the sifat of Allah is that Allah has a hand, you have to know what hand means. Do you agree with me or not?
But the definition that we have, a hand of a clock, of a door handle, and my hand.
That's not a definition. That's not a definition.
No, it's
if I open up the dictionary,
So what you're doing is the following.
Al-ma'na in Lughat al-Arabiyyah. What does ma'na mean? It means the definition.
Okay.
The definition of book. A book is an object where there is ink and paper.
Okay.
I want to know what is.
Thank you.
I don't want to go to Google. I want him to answer what.
So what you've done is the following. You want a definition that the human mind is going to give you, and then you're going to what you're going to do. Okay, the hand.
What mind do you use to understand Quran?
One second.
You have a different mind for Quran and a different mind for the
What we're going to do is the following. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Google now. I'm going to say what's the definition of a hand. Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay.
That's what I wanted you to
Yeah, no problem. Because I just got you now. Okay.
Inshallah.
Definition of a hand. Yeah?
No.
Of a hand.
It's freezing.
Inshallah, don't worry. Okay. The end part of a person's arm beyond the wrist, including the palm, fingers, and thumb. Okay. What's the problem?
So the word arm. So it's referring to an arm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, do you mind if I use your phone?
No, sure.
Definition of arm. This is the next stage because it's still part of the ma'na.
That's good.
Definition of arm. Sorry, my fingers are too fat for your phone, Akhi.
No, it's not fair.
Each of the two upper limbs of a human body from shoulders to hands. Now, the issue that lies here is the linguistics. For you to affirm that the ma'na of yad is basically the apparent meaning is a hand, which is a part of the arm, which is a limb of the body. The Salafi position, I don't think you're familiar with it, right?
Okay, carry on.
Al-Albani, Ibn Uthaymeen, Bin Baz will all tell you that the apparent meaning is that Allah has a limb, meaning a hand, but we don't know how this hand looks, and it doesn't look like any of the creation, but it's still a hand. Now, logically speaking, this same argument can be presented as, I've got a car that you've never seen before, Akhi, because it's never been built before. But only I have this car. Is it still not a car?
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So you're basically saying Allah has a hand, but it's unlike any hand that exists.
Thank you.
But Allah has still got a limb.
I've understood the problem. I know exactly what's going on now. And the problem goes back to what? You are taking your aql over the naql. Let me tell you why.
Because what did Ibrahim alayhi salam do in the Quran? What did he say about the sun?
Can I speak?
What did he say about the sun?
You spoke, let me talk. The problem here is the following, and I'm going to give you an analogy. You go and get a guy from the Amazon and you bring him to London and put him here. He's walking and he sees Ali Dawah speaking on the phone, and I put on loudspeaker. And then he says, and he's talking and he's looking at me and he's thinking, okay, what is this guy doing? He's talking to something. He goes back to his tribe and he says, I went to a city or somewhere and I saw a voice coming out, something that looks like a rock. Now, if this rock is speaking, it should have a tongue. If it has a tongue, it should have a teeth. If it has a teeth, it has a body. If it has a body, it should eat. If it eats, it should go toilet. What you're doing is the following. This is a fallacy, because what you're doing is you're using your logic.
Why are you using kalam to refute kalam? I thought that was incorrect.
Okay, like I said before, I'm not S-Pops.
No. Whether or not your S-Pops doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. S-Pops are a small group. We're talking about the position of Bin Baz, Ibn Uthaymeen.
Let me tell you something. Sheikh Bin Baz, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, all of them, if you claim, which I believe is a lie against them, even if all of them said what you think they did, which I disregard that they ever said that, Aki, we take the Quran Sunnah over anybody. Bring all the ulama together. My point is the following.
I'm just surprised.
No, I'm asking a question.
I'm personally surprised as somebody who's a da'i, somebody who gives dawah to the people here and elsewhere.
Can I speak? I haven't finished my point.
He's had the audacity to discuss Aqidah, but he doesn't even know the Aqidah of his ulama.
Aki, I spoke. You spoke. I listened.
The brother shaking his head. He knows that you're not up on the Aqidah of Salaf.
He's shaking his head to you. Aki, look, I'm saying the following. You are ascribing something to Sheikh Salih Al-Fawzan, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, which I believe they never said that. They never said, Aki, do you believe Sheikh Salih Al-Fawzan said that Allah runs? Aki, come on, let's be real here. Even the brother shaking his head. Look. Aki,
this is Albani. Let's go to the ulama. Let the ulama.
Allow me to talk.
The ulama's voice is higher than us, Aki. Let's read together, Habibi.
Aki, can I speak? My brother, can I speak?
Brother, please
Aki, can I finish my
please
point?
Read, brother.
Can I finish my point, Aki?
You can finish your point, then
Aki,
we go to the ulama.
Then
we go to the ulama.
Aki, we'll go to the Quran, the Sunnah, and the Salaf.
Inshallah.
Okay, the Salaf all agreed on certain points. So let's stick to that.
That's not true.
Tell me, Aki, how are you not doing the same with a guy from the Amazon who's hearing me speak on the phone, and because I'm speaking through the phone, he's ascribing and attributing things to the phone because he hears voices coming out of it. You are using your logic, which is limited, to look at Allah's attributes and say, hey, that doesn't make sense to me. Well, guess what? Your logic is limited. How are you negating Allah's, I don't know. How are you doing that when your very logic is limited? So tell me the simple question. How are you not doing the same thing that a guy from Amazon is doing?
Inshallah, can I answer? Yes. Let's talk about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Right, this is from the Quran. When Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he saw the sun. What did he say? Is this my Lord?
Yes.
Then afterwards the sun disappeared. What did he say?
It can't be my Lord.
What was he doing there?
He was using his logic.
Aql.
Yes.
Let's rewind back everyone on the video.
Okay.
Don't use aql, use the naql.
I never said that.
Yes, wallahi.
I never said that.
You said, Akhi, you're using your aql, you should stick to the naql.
No. You're using
Ibrahim
it over.
Salam just used philosophy to say the sun is not his God, but now I can't rely upon aql. I have to just literally interpret all of the naql as it is. So therefore I now have to believe Allah runs. Just like Albani says that we can't deny the sifat of Allah being running. We can't deny that Allah has two right hands, two eyes. Allah can't be... Why two eyes? That's a good question, right? Why just two eyes when spiders have more eyes? So therefore, a spider has more eyes than Allah. It just makes no sense. Just because the Dajjal has one eye, your Lord has to have 2 eyes. Not 3, not 4, not more. Not an infinite amount. Why just 2? Because the people of Tasbih, they link human body's perfection, meaning 2 hands and 2 eyes, as perfection. So they relate Allah to it. The Sheikh from Birmingham, Green Lane, you wouldn't deny that this individual's off the manhaj, would you? They're Sunni Muslim, aren't they?
I want to listen to them.
Usman Dahabi, right? They call him Goldie. The Kharijis used to call him Goldie. They probably still do. He has a video. I would recommend watching it, where he's relating that perfection for Allah is relating to our mind, relating to human body's perfection. So 2 hands is perfection. Hence why they say Allah has 2 eyes, not 1 eye. I can bring you all the adillah if you want.
Okay, so
now the fact is, you've claimed that the main Salafi the Imams of the Salafi Dawah, right? I've just brought you evidences with the sources that they're saying that denying the sifat of Allah being running from that hadith is baseless. You have to affirm it. There's no base for you to deny that Allah runs. So every Salafi has to believe Allah runs. Every Salafi believes that Allah runs and they don't know how, but Allah runs. This is kufr. Do you understand? You're likening Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to his creation. The Quran refutes the people who are from the Mujassima, right? They're refuted from day on. The Salafi scholars do not hide their real aqidah. It's there in the books. They believe that Allah runs. They believe that Allah literally comes down to the lowest heaven every night. You're a scientist, doctor. You know that the last third of the night is constantly happening across the world. So therefore that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to literally be and the lowest heaven constantly, but also above the arsh after he's made istawa. Now,
can I ask you a question? Just one question that puzzled me for many times as a scientist. We've done scientists. In Isra wal Mi'raj, when Rasul sallallahu he went to Sayyidina Musa up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then down and up for the prayers to reduce the prayers to 5. Where was Musa in relation to Allah at that time?
Allahu A'lam. We don't know. It's just like the question if I was standing in Australia and I said that Allah is above and then if above the heavens, right? And then if I was standing in United Kingdom, the zenith is different on both points if you believe the earth is a globe or a sphere. If you hence why some Salafi scholars believe the earth is flat, because it just makes no sense. How can Allah be above us? He has to be above, therefore the earth has to be flat.
Let me know when you finish, I'll listen to you, yeah? Go on. Okay, look, once again, brothers and sisters, Allah is very clear, yeah? What the brother's doing here is the following. When I said you're taking your aql over the naql, he's saying to me, he thinks that I'm saying don't use your logic at all. So don't lose your logic at all, but walk into a tree. Don't say it's a tree, maybe I can go through the tree. I never said that. I never said that at all. But when you take the aql totally over the naql, over the text, if you say my logic, brother, your logic, do you agree your logic is limited?
Of course, every human being's logic is limited.
So, if your logic is limited, then how do you come to these conclusions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hand, or be it his eye, or be it his shin, or be it his whatever it may be, or him running? I listen to you. I listen to you, Aki. I listen to you. Can I speak? Brother, you listen.
I'm listening. I'm still going.
You have to listen.
Go on.
If you've agreed what? Your logic is limited. We agree, my logic is limited as well. Don't get to all of our logic is limited, yeah? That's the reason why I gave the example of a man in the Amazon. You bring him to the United Kingdom, you bring him to London, he sees Ali Dawah talking on the phone, yeah? And someone speaking on loudspeaker. He's going to be thinking, yo, what is that he's speaking to? It looks like a rock, yeah? Now, there's sound coming out of the rock. He's going to go back to his tribe and say, listen, I found something amazing.
Maybe a jinn's in the rock or something.
No, not really. It's not. It's just, it's technology.
There's a story like that in Arabia as well. A revert guy from the Ottoman Empire brought a film device that shows a film. And the people, he was living in Kuwait before Kuwait became a state. But he said this argument already, and he's using kalam against kalam, which is not from the aqid of the Salaf. They use kalam apparently.
Let me speak.
Respect the kalam. Why would he go against his usul?
No, not really.
I feel honoured that you're going against the usul of the Salafi aqidah to use kalam against kalam.
Not at all. What I'm doing is I'm affirming Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attribute. I'm not negating it.
You know that rock example is kalam. You're saying you're using kalam, philosophy. You're a philosopher.
I'm using kalam. Are you okay with that?
No, I don't mind. I don't mind, but just
I don't mind either.
Just remember that Ibn Uthaymeen Bin Baz,
Okay.
all of those
Okay.
people. You're
Okay.
now a Jahmi because you're using
No,
philosophy.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
To correct me in Aqidah.
Nobody will say.
Bring
Aki, let me speak.
Shamsi.
Aki, let me speak.
Shamsi
Please let
at
me
least
speak.
is honest.
Aki, go and
Shamsi
speak
will
to him
tell you
after.
from the
Okay.
start, don't use kalam.
Okay.
Using
Okay.
kalam is from the
Okay, let me know when you
Jahmiyyah.
finish, Aki. Okay.
From the
thank you.
Mu'tazila,
Thank you.
they use
Can I speak,
philosophy.
Aki, I would say the only reason, Aki, listen, he's telling me I can't use any logical arguments. I'm sorry, if Shamsi follows that,
Stick to the knuckle,
listen,
Akhi. Stick to the
my
knuckle,
brother,
Akhi.
do you know what that
Let's
means?
not go to the akhl.
The fact that you're stopping me, you know what that means? You know I'm making a valid point that you don't want to hear.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to keep my mouth shut for you.
Thank you.
Talk.
May Allah bless you. Barakallah feek.
Talk.
May Allah bless you, Aki. I affirm Allah has a hand. I affirm it. I do not negate it. I do not deny it. I do not give it an attribute to the creation. What you're doing is another extreme. You agreed that you have a limited mind just like me and you. I gave the argument of the man in the Amazon.
No.
He comes and sees Ali speaking to a device that's making noise. He's going to go to his tribe and say, I saw something profound. Noise and sound coming out like we talk from a rock. He's going to say, and his tribe's going to say, okay, if this rock speaks, it should have a tongue.
Yes.
It should have a mouth.
Yes.
It should have a teeth. If you have a teeth, you should have a face. If you have a face,
Maybe
you should have a body.
veneers.
Let me finish, Aki.
Yeah.
Let me finish. It should have a body. If he has a body, he should eat. If he eats, then what did you do? You're doing exactly the same thing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes. What you're doing is the following. Oh, Allah descends to the lowest part of the heaven. What do you mean Allah descends? What you're doing is the following. You're using your aql, which is fine, in the context where we're not saying don't use your aql at all. We're not saying of course you're going to use your aql. However, what you're doing is the following. You're saying Allah runs. Allah can't run. Who said? Did we say Allah runs like this? We affirm Allah has a hand. Allah has eyes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a shin. But this is where ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. There is nothing like him. Finish.
Correct.
Now,
Correct.
if there is nothing like him, I don't need to say, oh, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Brother, I affirm Allah has a hand.
Yeah.
How? I don't know how. Yes, I don't say Allah has a hand like my hand, because what you did is you went to the definition on Google and you read it and said a hand requires a limb to the shoulder. Actually, you're doing exactly the same thing as the guy in the Amazon. Now tell me, why am I wrong? I'm just saying, my brother,
can I
don't.
talk
I'm
now?
finished. 10 seconds, I'm finished.
It's good.
So I'm saying the following, that the limbs is irrelevant. So brother, please, if you could just tell me, how are you not falling to the limited mind of a guy in the Amazon? Because you're doing exactly the same thing.
Okay, no problem. I'll answer that for you. Now, his position is Allah has a hand. It's unlike any of the creation's hands, but Allah still has a hand. You understand? So when he uses the argument that Allah has, it's like understanding a clock has hands. That's not what is understood by the Salafi Aqidah. They believe that the ma'na is known. The ma'na, meaning the definition of yad, is known. And they will affirm to you that the definition of a hand is the object which is known as a body part. However, this body part is unlike anything of the creation. It is unlike anything of the creation, and we don't know the kayfiyah, meaning the howness. How does Allah have a hand, right? We don't know how Allah has a hand, but we believe Allah has a hand. We don't know how it looks. So you're ascribing to Allah 2 right hands already, right? With this mentality, just look at it. 2 right hands, 2 eyes, a shin. A shin is, in English, a shin refers to this part. You know, you have shin guards. But I'm not saying he believes Allah has a shin like human being. I'm not saying that. I understand the Salafi position. I used to follow it. The position is that Allah has a shin unlike any shin of the creation, but Allah still has a shin. So now I've ascribed to Allah 2 right hands, 2 eyes, a shin. What else we got? A foot. The hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he put his foot over hellfire, I asked the Saudi sheikh once, funnily enough, I asked him, do you believe that there's time and space in Jahannam? Because we know the Malaika hold Jahannam down with the chains. How can you believe that Allah's foot went into hellfire? That's kufr. That is anthropomorphism, to believe that Allah's foot entered space and time where angels are holding something. Even the throne, the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the malaika hold it up. We know this. But for you to believe that Allah is above that object which malaika holding, where their feet come down to the lowest heaven, for you to believe that, can't you see that this is the aqeedah of the Mujassima? So the thing is, this brother won't understand, and whoever else adopts his mentality, until you finally accept that you're basically saying that Allah has body parts, unlike any body parts of the creation, but they're still body parts. This is the Salafi position. No matter what this brother says, I don't know that he's fully aware of it.
I affirm that.
I don't know exactly. So he's saying Allah has jism. Allah has body parts, meaning meaning jism parts. If you were to half it, so he's from the Mujassima. This guy believes that Allah has body parts, unlike any other body parts of the creation.
Can I interject with one question?
Of course.
Can I say one thing? Okay, it's very crucial. I just want to say one thing. What you're doing is, and you need to answer this honestly. You're saying that. Okay, let me ask you a question.
Fadl.
Do you exist?
Of course I exist.
Does Allah exist?
Of course Allah exists. Allah is
okay, are you comparing your existence to Allah's existence?
This is a very poor argument. Do you know
why? It's a very
why?
brilliant argument if you can answer it.
Do you know why?
Yeah, go on, tell me.
Because you're saying, why can't Allah have a hand if I have a hand? Why can't I be just like, for example,
I never said that.
mercy,
I never said that.
right?
I never said that.
Mercy.
I never said that.
Allah,
You straw man
is
argument.
all merciful.
You straw man argument, Aki. You straw man argument.
I'm merciful,
No,
right?
no, Aki.
Allah, am I like Allah because I show mercy to somebody and Allah
Aki,
shows
Aki,
mercy?
Aki.
Absolute nonsensical
Okay,
argument.
check this out.
Don't bring that, please.
Check this out. This is a brilliant argument. If you can answer it, I'll become Ashari. I'll become Ashari right now.
Subhanallah.
Will I become Ashari? Check this out. Allah, you exist, yeah?
Allah brought me into existence.
Okay, but you exist right now, yeah?
Allah brought me into existence.
I know, my brother.
I've answered the question.
Okay.
I've answered the question.
You exist.
I am currently in existence thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Does Allah exist?
His existence is not the same as my existence.
Thank you.
Therefore, no, one second.
Thank you.
Let me explain why. Because in the English language, what does exist mean? In Arabic, what is the meaning of his existence? Because we're using English here.
Yes.
In Arabic, what is the understanding of Allah's existence? That He never had the start or beginning.
Yes.
The word existence means that you had to have the start and an ending. Therefore, his comparison in saying that I say Allah has a hand, it does not have a hand, but he says Allah has a hand, unlike any other hands. He's still referring to Allah, showing a similarity of we have a body part and so does Allah. So his argument is baseless.
Okay, I'll repeat
Allah's
again.
existence is not the same existence as our existence.
You just made my point. You just made my point.
Because the matter is your matter of existence is completely different. Allah does not exist like us.
You made my point when you said that the existence, the word, the definition of existence is what? That's something that begins to exist. Allah doesn't begin to exist. So what you did is
therefore the English word for existence does not apply to Allah.
My brother, can I finish? Can I finish? So you have made my point. How? No, but Aki, can I speak? You affirm
no offense,
Aki,
brother.
Can I speak?
No offense,
Aki,
brother. Bring Muhammad hijab.
Aki, can
bring
I talk?
Muhammad hijab or somebody, who can at least have an intellectual discussion and not bring these little arguments that Dr. Zakir Naik might have taught.
No problem. Look, you can belittle my arguments. Look, I'm a nobody. I'm a little bird or a rat.
If you're a nobody, I'm nothing, Aki. I'm a microbe on the floor, a fat one.
Then please. No, please just answer.
I said from the get-go, let's discuss this in private off camera. Father, sorry, talk, speak away, speak to your heart's content.
I'm saying just answer the question. I don't want nothing else from you.
Okay.
Me, I'm Zakir Naik, whatever you want to call it. You want to call it kalam, call
Ask
it
me the
whatever
question,
you like.
brother. Let's
we've already
ask
done
the
it.
question.
You affirmed for me, you made my argument for me. You said, I exist. Allah exists. The definition of existence is something that comes into existence. Allah does not. That is my point.
Okay, so can I say something now?
Let me finish. You affirm the existence for yourself. We know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists. But your existence and his existence are two separate things. He did not begin, neither will he end. You began and you will end.
Yeah.
So how is it that you're making my argument for me when it comes to Allah's attributes? When we say Allah has a hand, you'll start saying, oh, no, what are you trying to say? A limb. You're making my point. The fact that you're saying the existence of Allah
I've heard this
is
already,
separate.
Aki. Can I answer?
So please answer.
Can I answer, please? When I'm using the English language, because we're speaking English, we're not speaking Arabic. When I say the word existence, the defined ma'na for this word is that something that has a start. Obviously, Allah has never had a start.
Yes.
He is eternal, ancient. The English
but he
word
exists.
to use is ancient, actually. That's what the people that translate books of Aqidah, they like to use the word ancient, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, Allah's existence, the word that I use to tell you that Allah exists is not the same as what I'm trying to instigate about my existence. Do you understand?
That's what I'm saying.
One second. But your argument is that you're saying that because I'm saying I exist and Allah exists, that same argument does not apply to the principle where you say Allah's got a hand, I've got a hand, his hand does not look like my hand, but he's still got a hand.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a hand? The meaning, because I know what
What's the
existence meaning.
What's the meaning of existence?
So my existence is not, the word does not apply to Allah, because Allah's
That's what I'm
existence, but that's...
Aki, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
No, you don't understand, brother.
Then negate existence for yourself.
In Arabic, when you're reading the word in the Quran, yet, there are 27 possible meanings in the Arabic language based upon Jahiliyyah poetry, etc.
Okay.
However, the Salafi Aqidah, which I don't think you've comprehended, the position is to say that Allah's, the meaning of yet in Arabic, the ma'na is known. Do you understand the ma'na?
Okay.
The definition is known. So therefore they know that the meaning of the ayah is that Allah has a hand meaning a limb. But this limb does not look like our limb. Do you understand? When he asked me Allah's existence and my existence, in English I can't provide a word which suffices for Allah's attribute of existence, because the way his existence is nowhere close to my existence.
So do you deny his existence then?
Akhi, don't bring, please use your brain, Akhi. I clearly stated that Allah's existence is different from my existence.
That's what I'm
Do you
saying.
understand? Come here, Akhi. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. No, come. No, Aki, I've got no problem. That's what I'm saying.
Look, following on from what the brother said, what the esteemed brother said,
No.
Allah's mercy, or Allah, huwa Sami'. What does a Sami' mean? He listens. He can listen to our creation. And of course we can listen to one another right now.
Thank you.
That's what he's trying to say.
He doesn't understand.
He just used a very peculiar example, but it can be generalized to mercy, compassion, all of this stuff.
1 second, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, but can you answer the question?
So
you're making our point.
The ability for me to have mercy, ability for me to have mercy, is that created?
Yes.
So I'm not sharing anything from Allah's mercy. It's not the mercy that Allah has.
So is the hand created?
What do you mean?
One second.
You have mercy.
One second. I can show mercy if I see this brother hungry and I give him food. It's mercy, right?
Yes.
Is this mercy that I'm giving? Is it a created mercy? Am I created to have it?
What you're doing?
Or is it something that is within me?
It's an action.
It's an action. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Allah's mercy is an action.
Yes.
Does Allah have to be merciful?
No, both. So for example, Ar-Rahma, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Rahim.
Does Allah have to be those? Does Allah have to be those?
That's his attribute. Allah has attributes which imply a verb, like actions. And he also is merciful regardless of whether...
Does Allah have to be merciful if he doesn't want to?
No, that's why he has his justice.
No, 1 second.
That's why he has his justice.
1 second. Before Allah created any of the creation, before anything, was Allah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim?
Of course, Allah doesn't look. Allah was the creator when there was no creation. Allah does not become the creator when there is creation.
What about As-Sami'? You didn't answer As-Sami', which is more difficult to answer.
Okay, so Allah does not. For example, listening and speaking, right? Let's answer both at the same time. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to Musa alayhi salam, it was not with sound or letters.
What?
It was not with any sound or letters.
Why? See, you're going back to the same thing. You're making it. You're bringing it back
because
to your limited
understanding
logic.
of Allah speaking is equivalent. For example,
you're doing the same thing that guy in
on
Amazon
YouTube
doing.
Hearing the video.
Wallahi, you're doing. You know what the problem is here? Can I say that? The problem here is the following. Yeah, that's the reason why I asked the argument of existence. Why? Because you have to affirm it. You have to affirm Allah exists, not your existence that we have, not the definition of Google or any other dictionary. No, but Allah exists. And what did you say? But Allah has no beginning or end. I have a beginning and end. Exactly my point. Allah has a hand. Not like my hand. I affirm the hand. It is not like, I repeat again.
1 second.
I affirm the hand.
Second.
It's not like my hand.
I
do not negate it. I don't say I don't know.
One thing.
So Aki, you're making my point for me.
1 second. Allah has a hand and the hand doesn't look like any other hand. But you believe Allah has got...
Aki, what does that mean?
This is what we use in the Ash'ari arguments, bro. Everyone uses this verse.
Well, then what's
what
your
I'm asking you is that you still believe, as the definition which I showed you, which is a limb, that Allah has limbs that don't look like our limbs.
Aki. Let me repeat again.
What is a hand? Tell me, what is a hand?
No, you tell me what the Quran
I want to know the ma'na of yet. I want to know the ma'na. You know the ma'na because you affirm it. Tell me it.
You know what you're doing is the following. It's the guy. No.
That's why I asked to speak to you because you will understand this. What is the ma'na of yet?
You're not answering it.
What is the ma'na?
My brother, I'll tell you again. It's the same thing. The guys go back and says, "Did you see him have a tongue?" He said, "No, I didn't see him have a tongue." But you said he speaks.
That's not what I'm asking you, bro. That's not what I'm asking you.
Wallahi, I'm doubting myself. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I'm not asking
the guy who goes to the Amazon and he tells his tribe.
No one cares about the Amazon. But the thing is, obviously the individual has never seen anything before, right?
Thank you.
No, but one second. The issue is not that it looks different. That's not what I'm not worried about the case. I don't care about the case. I'm asking you what the ma'na is. What is yet?
Okay, can I answer?
You understand? You're constantly trying to argue, saying, "Oh yeah, actually, it's a hand, but it looks like it doesn't look like it." I'm not asking about the case. I'm not asking about the kayfiyya, akhi. I want the ma'na of yet. I want the ma'na.
No. Not yet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says yadahu. He has two hands.
Okay, so what does that mean?
So you said there's 72 meanings. Can you tell me?
Not 72. According to some dictionaries, 27 meanings for the word yet alone. However, I don't care about the ma'na. I make taqweed al-ma'na. So this argument doesn't matter.
So if you have all these meanings for hands, what is the metaphorical meaning of two right hands?
I don't know the metaphorical meaning. I don't give a metaphorical meaning. I don't give a metaphorical meaning. For you to ask me that, I make taqweed al-ma'na. I don't even know what the attribute is. I just affirm that the word used in the Quran, I use it to the sifat.
Do you know why you do that?
I'm asking you, because the Salafi position is that the ma'na of yadain is known. So I'm asking you, what does it mean?
The Salafi position is very clear.
What does it mean?
Let me tell you, the Salafi position, is very clear.
What is the ma'na? Until you answer the ma'na, we can't continue.
We've answered. All you've done is the following. The difference between me and
it is real hands. Unlike our hands, not made of cells, not made of neurons.
A gorilla's hands are not like my hands.
This guy doesn't want to listen.
A chimpanzee's hands are not the same as my hands.
The hands of a clock, the hands of a...
But we know that's a metaphorical statement, brother. The clock hands is not a metaphorical statement. You're using metaphors to a comparison of a metaphor
like you
of a clock
understood
hand.
Allah hearing as not like our hearing.
Thank you.
We understand.
That, brother.
I am sorry. Just like you understood Allah's hearing, not like our hearing. Therefore, and Allah's mercy is not like the mother giving her.
No, but this is what you don't understand. If the ayah where there's nothing unlike Allah, for you to say Allah's got a hand and it doesn't look like our hand, but it's still a hand.
Just like His mercy.
But one second. But your understanding of the other sifat of Allah, your understanding of the sifat of rahmah, etc., is incorrect because our attribute of mercy is not the same as Allah's mercy in the sense of when we say but when you say the hands are different.
Circular argument.
Because the original point, the ma'na of mercy, my mercy, the definition of my mercy is not equivalent to Allah's mercy in the first place. We have to first work off the ma'na, then the
So what's the ma'na of hands?
I don't know that I follow Imam Bayhaqi's position.
Thank you.
Just like
also
the early Hanabila and the early Hanabila, meaning the early Hanbali school made tafweed al-ma'na wa kayf.
Okay,
Then came along the pseudo Salafis of the past. They said we know the ma'na. Allah's got hands.
Guys, I'm gonna make it very clear. I'm just going to my closing statement. It's very clear.
What does Aqidah Tahawiyya? What does Imam Tahawi say?
Read it.
I don't want the commentary.
The reason why
this commentary is written by a Hanafi that never existed.
Let me finish. No problem.
Never existed.
I would be in the same.
Barakallahu fika. Barakallahu fika. That's why the likes of Hadith disciple guy, I forgot his name. He says that he's made a mistake about the jihad of Allah.
Okay, no problem. I'll make it very clear. The problem that you have
that the Salafis follow is Zeus. You understand?
Can I finish, Aki?
They make Allah to be a human being, but indirectly, and they will deny it. The real position of the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah is the two schools, which is the Ash'ari school and the Maturidi school, and that includes the Hanabila of Ahlul Tafweed al-Ma'na wa Kayf. These three groups are Ahlul Sunnah. Bin Baz, Ibn Uthaymeen, and the likes. They are not from Ahlul Sunnah. They've left the fold of Ahlul Sunnah.
Okay, so now he's made his closing statement. I'm going to make my closing statement. It's very simple.
I follow the majority. The majority.
Aki, you made your closing statement. Can I make my closing statement? Aki, majority of them are Christians who are committing shirk. So
I'm talking about the Ummah.
No.
The majority of the Muslim population today.
Yeah.
What is the majority school of thought in Aqidah?
Okay, so principle
what does Yusuf Qaradawi say?
Okay, 1 second.
What does Yusuf Qaradawi say? He admits it's the Shaira.
Can I speak? Aki, can I speak? Can I speak? Okay, what is the top? What is the one of the biggest religions? Christianity.
I'm talking about the Muslim population.
Aki,
what has Muslim population
your
got
argument,
to do with Christians?
Aki, allow me to speak.
What does
your
the hadith
argument
say
has
that
a fallacy?
what the Muslims follow, the
Aki,
majority,
you're on the
Allah
haq
is
even
pleased
if you're
with
alone.
them.
You're on the haq even if you're alone.
From the time of the
Aki,
from the time of the Salaf, from the time of the Salaf to the time of today, the Ash'ira were the majority.
Okay, finish. Thank you.
His school of thought came when the petrol dollar started coming out the ground.
Yes, Aki.
That's how it works.
Yes, Aki.
And then they spread the Aqidah of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, who went against Ahlul Sunnah.
Aki, have some adab.
Aki, no, the thing is, brother, the thing is,
Aki, can I talk?
You want to have
Aki, for the sake of Allah, can I talk? Can I speak? Wallahi, the basic adab. I listen to you. You made your point. You made this the innovators. Yeah? Let me talk.
To be honest, I think I need to speak to Shamsi instead.
Aki, go and speak to whoever you like.
Shamsi knows his
Aki,
Aqidah.
let me talk. Let me talk.
I don't care about him shaking my hand. Let him think I'm a kafir. I don't care. I'll shake your hand. You're my Muslim brother. At the end of the day, I don't believe you're a non-Muslim because you disagree. Finish it off, put it on YouTube, cut it in a nice way to look good. Inshallah, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Don't forget to give me some of the AdSense money as well, because I've been in the cold, you know what I mean?
I'm waiting for my oils to come from Saudi, then I'll give it, inshallah.
The petrodollars.
Yes, thank you. I accept dollars. I like dollars.
It's okay.
I love dollars.
We'll change the currency. No problem.
Take care, inshallah.
Just
remember, don't believe
Aki,
Allah's
let me
got body
talk.
parts. This is
Adab is more
kufr.
important than his
Aki, have some adab. Wallahi, one
We're
thing
in a
that...
park where people are shouting.
Aki,
If you want to have a normal conversation, let's go inside. Let's have a cup of tea.
Aki, look. The only thing that you might have with Shamsi is that you share about adab. Wallahi, the only thing that you share with him is about adab.
I'm not obliged to stay here on camera to hear it and then go finish this conversation. I had a discussion with him. I originally asked to be off camera. Then he said, no, Aki, you'll be good, let's go on camera. Now the conversation is I'm gone. Okay, let him finish. I'll listen to him finish. Even if you don't let him, I'll listen to him finish. But
Can I talk now? Can I talk? Can I talk? Can I talk?
Is it a sign for me to have to listen to him finish? How do you know that I might not have a disability and I need to know?
If you have them,
you're not making excuses for
Why are you
me.
holding the brother? Please.
You're not making excuses for me.
May Allah bless you.
You're not making excuses.
You need to listen. You must listen.
Please don't hold the guy. Thank you very much. I can finally talk now. Dawood. Is he recording? Okay. I'm sorry, I have to finish my statement. I'm so sorry. Guys, I just wanted to have a discussion with this brother and just hear him out. He came here and he said, you said the Aqidah of Abu Bakr Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS. What's the point of saying that? My point is very clear to him. We affirm Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a hand. But we do not say it's like my hand. The thing that the fallacy the brother's falling into is the following. He's hearing things and we are human beings. If I hear things like hand or things or anything someone explains, I think what's in my mind? What have I seen? If somebody gives me an example, I have to go back to my aql and say, okay, the lowest thing that I can bring that to is the following. I asked him, do you exist? Yes, I do. Does Allah exist? Yes, He does. But His existence is not the same, he goes. Yeah, Aki, I've been seeing the same thing for the past half an hour. Just because we say Allah has a hand, doesn't mean it's my hand like this, that has a limb, to my shoulder, to my body. I have to eat.
he was insulting the Prophet.
Wallahi, it's unbelievable. All I'm saying to him is this, and where does this come from? His logic. all he's doing is what? I use my aql. I have to use my mind. That doesn't make sense to me. We agreed that your aql is limited. If your aql is limited, it's going to bring limited conclusions. That's the reason why when it comes to Allah's hand, He keeps saying limb, part, limb. The problem is with the brothers' understanding. We affirm Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attribute. We do not negate it. We do not liken it to the creation. We don't cancel it out. We don't give it other meanings. It's as simple as that. But to Him, Allah descends to the lowest heaven. Descends? The only thing that I know with descends is coming down. Now, the thing is, we affirm Allah does that. How? We don't know. Just like it was Imam Malik or Imam Ahmed, I can't remember, somebody came and said to him, does Allah rise above His throne? He said, we affirm that. The Ahlul Sunnah affirm that. And the man asked, how? He said, how is innovation? How does Allah do that? Brother, we don't know. So that's the reason why when you use your logic, which is limited, it brings you to these false conclusions. And that's all I was saying. And he affirmed my position. With what? He said Allah's hand, limb, eye. Okay, do you exist? Yes. Does Allah exist? Yeah. But it's different. Thank you. That's my point. So inshallah we learn something from this, and we should have look in the park, Salam Corner. We're not here to debate, but the brother wasn't letting me talk. I just want to have good adab. I just talk. He was doing low blows. Oh, you don't know nothing. You share the same aqid Abu Bakr Baghdadi. So that was it, brothers and sisters. I'll repeat again, we affirm Allah's attributes. We do not liken it to the creation. If you liken it to the creation, all you're doing is you're using your limited logic and you're coming with limited conclusions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Akhi, was I saying something wrong?
Wallahi, you had pure adab. I can't handle that adab.
No, but did I say anything wrong? You affirm because Allah exists, I exist, but it's not the same. That's my point.
He's programmed to but it's good he's attracted to Shamsi. It's the same mentality.
Yeah.
I actually see him becoming a madkhali and joining that kind of...
No, he hates them.
No, now he does, but it's the same mentality.
ContentCOE everything from your melody. Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. Listen. I don't listen to ITV. I don't even listen to ITV. I just listen to COE. I don't listen to BBC. I don't listen to ITV. I don't even listen to Sky. Man, don't listen to COE. Man, just listen to COE. Man, just listen to COE. You see me in COE. Talking over everything. COE. Man, not in the no BBC. Man, not in the no ITV.
Right, let's have you then. Let's have you.
They just listen to COE. Sorry, Mommy, I'm lying.
I don't mind asking questions. Oh no, he's great. He's great spontaneous. No, I was on a joke, but he's great spontaneously. You're like Moses. You're like Moses. The speaker's Moses.